Jerome has maybe a program, which I kindly, well, I asked for him and he kindly obliged, maybe a program, very succinct, just, a freeway split. Because I'm going to share that on the screen soon if I can find it. I'm usually pretty organized, so there we go. There we go. Yeah, so this is just the split that Jerome made me. So I'm going to go for this kind of an explanation as to why, what, how. Then Jerome can fill in any details that I've missed. So basically, it's a freeway split. So we're looking at workout 1, workout 2, workout 3. And it's a push, pull, legs split. So it's got all the sort of key core compound movements for what it's worth. And so far, I've done the leg session and the upper body push session. Tomorrow, I've got the pull session. And basically, what it comprises of is about 4 to 6 sets in total per session, and that's it. There's no warm-ups. There's no, adding in extra or anything. It is what you see on the screen right now. I'm going to stick to it to a T, with the exception of, I think, the bit here, which is overhead press, and the side raises or the lateral raises I'm going to do, rather than do the lateral raises and the shrugs. But I may take out the overhead press depending on how my shoulders feel. Mainly because I've got dodgy shoulder joints sometimes. Sometimes my elbows are a bit funny, so it's kind of a here or there kind of thing. I'll just see how it plays out. But I'm quite happy with the volume, quite happy with the split. The exercise selection is perfect, excellent, exactly what I'd probably want to do as well. But sometimes, as a bodybuilder, you can be a bit overzealous at times, and you want to do everything in the gym. You want to do 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of this, and then just do too much. And I think the principles they always look at are like the intensity side of it when it comes to high intensity training. And that's something I'm trying to really specify on and focus on with the training split that we have. Now, with the pulling session, so this one here, you'll see he's added in a few, I don't know what you call it, maybe like a static hold in the contracted position sort of thing. Mainly because my spine still isn't that great. My lower back is okay, but I do get niggles here and there if I'm not particularly safe. So this is just a way of increasing intensity, but reducing the risk of injury. So when you hold a position in a still state, you're less likely to be injured because there's less things to go wrong. It'll also probably add a bit of intensity to it as well because it's hard to hold a weight in a contracted position, I find. So hopefully it will take away the ego a little bit and just make me more cautious and considerate about what I'm doing in the gym. But Jerome, was there any sort of key points that you'd like to sort of talk about the training that you put me on?
Yeah, I kind of covered it in the top paragraphs, but generally when I look at training, I take things from like a joint health perspective first, and then a muscular size and strength increase as kind of a secondary goal, or cardiovascular performance secondary. But Jonathan, being a bodybuilder, and bodybuilders in general tend to have the primary focus of wanting a fully developed physique first, and then other things like joint health, cardiovascular conditioning, overall fitness as less important goals. So knowing that Jonathan is first and foremost a bodybuilder, that did factor into how I structured this routine. If the people that I have in my studio generally don't do a push-pull legs split, I usually start people on full body workouts, compound pushing and pulling movements, generally 6-ish exercises a workout. And muscular size and strength is a little bit lower down in terms of priority. But Jonathan, being a bodybuilder with the goal of competing next year, we do need to add a little bit more volume, nothing crazy. And occasionally we would vary some exercise selection to kind of address weak points or stuff like that. But in general, the workouts are going to be very, very similar, but with some small differences.
Yeah, I like that. And there's a high intensity trainer out there at the moment. I think he won his show recently, and he does something maybe slightly different to me, maybe even lower volume, I think. And he's apparently retained his muscle going into competition. So although, yes, I've trained differently to build this much muscle, in his notes, I won't read through them all, but Jerome has been very succinct. Although this is only 3 paragraphs, this is all I would need to know as a trainer, having known Jerome for quite a while now, to how to put it, to adopt the program, to apply it, so he put in, the time to load. So I'm looking at like 45 to 120 seconds. The contracted hold, some positions, 3 to 4 days a week. It's all stuff that makes sense. It's got all the information I need. So, if anyone did have any questions about training, I'd definitely look at Jerome's channel. Reach out to him. He does offer consultations. He does have a training studio. He is an expert in walking as well. So definitely someone to follow, and follow him on social media as well. He does put out really good content. Short form articles that are just packed full of information that apply to everyone, that makes sense in a very simple to understand way, which is really good, because a lot of the time you see these guys, these like masters of certain programs and techniques, and they put something in a big long format kind of content, and you sort of read through it and you think, oh, this is way above my head. It's all jargon, but he does concentrate the information in an easy to understand way, which is excellent. I'm very grateful to have his assistance with this plan. But as you can see, it's got everything I need in it. If it's a diet plan, I've asked him for it to be a bit different, probably a bit more detailed, because diet is every bit as nuanced, if not more nuanced, than training in some cases. So,
And Jonathan and I have known each other for around a year now, and it's many discussions as we've had online and offline. That was really all I needed to write. But if I were to sit with a new client, and same with you, Jonathan, if you were to explain high intensity training principles to someone who is relatively new to it, you have to go in a lot greater detail than just 3 relatively brief paragraphs that I just outlined for you. But I know with everything I said, but there wasn't one extra word in that to try and get a point across. You and I are on the same wavelength with a lot of things in terms of training. And I appreciate your willingness to try something a little bit different. You and I are probably 98, 99% in agreement in terms of exercise. So you testing out some of those things, slowing down rep cadence a little bit, possibly reducing volume just a touch, not much in terms of what you normally do. I really appreciate your willingness to step outside of your normal comfort zone for a few months or a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an honest go for a month, the way you've written it out with, I'm obviously doing the shoulder movements, the 2 of them. And I'll see how it goes. But honestly, I'm at this point now where when I compete, I have to be below 100 kilos in the classic physique division. So my weight cap to be able to compete in my category is 100 kilos or 220 pounds. The year before I competed at 98 kilograms. So I'm not looking to, I'm not looking to put on loads of muscle, but I also appreciate the fact that I'm not going to put on a load of muscle. I'm also not going to lose any real appreciable amount of muscle. So simplifying things, just having, the weights, time and attention, amount of sets, concentrating it all into what you need to do rather than just thinking, oh, I might do this. Maybe I'll enjoy doing this. Just it's separating enjoyment from training as opposed to doing what you need to do. But saying that when you actually train these ways, when you actually train 4, 5, 6, 7 sets per workout, you actually enjoy the training more because you realize I've got half an hour, say, or something like that to do this workout. I've got this much opportunities. I'm going to nail it every time. The margin for error decreases. You're doing less, but you're focusing more. Because I found myself when I'm doing like sets to failure to even like just at least concentric muscular failure, I find that half an hour in, I start to flag a bit. 40 minutes in, I'm moving away. I can still kind of get close to failure, but I just don't. The focus isn't there. So it's about doing what I need to do, thinking, right, headphones on, concentrate. Luckily the gyms I train, I don't really have any mirrors I can see. So it's just moving the weight, feeling the muscle and logging it in the logbook. I've actually changed the way I log my workouts now as well, which I might try and find on my drive somewhere if I can. Yes, this is the new way I've just decided to log it. So I can put this I can pin this sheet to my home screen. So I've got on my home screen, mass program, just generic name, whatever. I can just log it in this way. I will have to make a separate spreadsheet. So I just copy and paste it over to a mass program 2. But the idea is I've got mass program 1 to follow, obviously in order. So I'll go down through the weeks. And that's because when I train at the gym near Sophie's, the machines are slightly different. So I want to make sure my logging is consistent. So I'll have logging using this equipment and logging using that equipment, but it'll still apply the same. I'm going to use a tricep extension regardless. I'm going to use the ab crunch. I'm going to use the shoulder press. It's just the machine will be different. So the weight will be slightly different. But at the moment, I'm in the point where I'm sort of finding the right weight to fit the right instructions of time to load. So you'll see here, obviously in some instances, I undershot the weight. So I've, 140 seconds time to load. It's too light. So I'll increase it next time, but it's not going to be 80 kilos. It's going to be like 70 kilos or something to try and fit under that bracket of, I believe, 45 to 120 seconds. Mm-hmm. And the same will apply to these, but just finding the right cadence as well is important. So that's something I need to be more focused on and apply with a bit more concentration, I think. So yeah, that's pretty much that one.
Build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.